Your spiritual leaders are not God, though. You see, your pastors are not God, though. They are human like you and me. Stop thinking that they are God. No, they have flaws. They have blood running through their veins. They make mistakes like you and I. They are not perfect. You see, church is like a hospital where broken people come for redemption, where broken people come for healing, when people come to be cured. Understand that, and understand that even your pastor needs healing as well. So the topic of today is your spiritual leaders are not God. They are humans. They make mistakes. They have flaws. They have blood running through their veins. They are not perfect because they are not God. So the moment you know that your spiritual leaders can make mistakes, the moment you know that they are not God, it gives you a little bit of room to have empathy. And remember, when you are a spiritual leader or when you're on that top pedestal, somehow you have more temptation. You know, people sometimes, there are weird people that want to actually tempt a pastor. So they have temptations because they meet a lot of people. So what you need to do for them, as against judging them, is pray for them. Understand that they are not God. Disassociate them from that, big title or expectations you've made, you've given them. No, they are humans. They can make mistakes. They have flaws. They can sin. Because I see oftentimes when believers actually in church hear one controversial thing about their pastor, they say, I'm not going to that church again. No, he's a sinner. You're looking for another pastor. How many churches will you go to from one church to another just because you feel, okay, that guy that I thought is God is no more God, so I now need to move to another church to look for God? No, build an intimate relationship with God for yourself. Yes, go to church that will help you nurture that relationship, but don't expect them to be God, because they are not God, and God never said he's going to have a replacement. He never told you that, right? They are humans like you. And also, dear spiritual leaders, sometimes you guys carry yourselves as though you are God. Somehow, unknowingly maybe, you give off that impression of, I'm holy or holier than thou. And even when you know you are not perfect, and even when you know you've sinned, it's not easy for you guys to step out and say, I am not in that frame of mind now. I need to step back. I need to actually commune with God. I need to build an intimate relationship with God again, so that I will be able to come back stronger, to be able to minister. Ministers in church don't do that as well. So you see people having that impression that, for 10 years, for 20 years, for 15 years, this minister has been perfect, so perhaps it's perfect. So I'm not saying that when you have an issue that you have to come to, maybe let's say you have a small issue today, you should come to your congregation tomorrow and say, okay, congregation, I'm signing out, because no, that's not what I'm saying. But you know what I mean. Sometimes you might lose touch. Sometimes you might feel you're a little bit distant from God. Sometimes you have personal struggles you're dealing with as a spiritual leader, and it needs you to have a quiet time with yourself and God. Always talk about that, even if you don't tell people when you're going through that. Maybe when you come back from that, share with your followers or with your congregation, so that they have, this feeling that you're human and you go through those challenges that they go through as well. And that can actually begin to debunk the fact that you're God. It could change the way they see you. They would have more compassion and more understanding that you are prone to mistakes because you're human. I am tired of people thinking that their spiritual leaders are God, expecting them to be immaculate, expecting them to be perfect, expecting them to have no flaws, when the Bible told us that we all have come short of the glory of God because of our sins. So why don't you begin to make people feel comfortable with the fact that you're human? Why don't you try to make your parishioners know that you're human and you can make mistakes? And why won't you, dear people, have grace and understanding towards your spiritual leaders, knowing that they are humans and they can make mistakes? You see, this particular topic, it is dear to my heart because I don't like what I hear. I don't like when congregations come back and say, I don't go to that church again because there was this scandal I heard about him. I even thought he was a man of God. I even thought he won't make such mistakes. Who are you to judge? Who are you to judge? And I've heard pastors actually, or seen pastors actually carry themselves like, see me, see God. Me and God are twin. Yes, you have a good relationship with God, but you're not God. You're human like me. In short, it might even shock you guys that day when the trumpet blows, you might get to the heaven gate before your pastor. You might even enter and sit next to God at the right hand side of God. No, me, I'm going to sit on the right. So you might sit on the left side of God before your pastor is granted access. Why? Because heavenly race, you don't even know who has that good relationship with God. You don't know. Go to church, get their preaching, get their teaching. Use that in your personal relationship with God. Give them grace and understanding when they fault, or when they make mistakes, or when you hear things about them. And again, mind you, some of the things you hear might be rumors. Because I'm tired of this our woke generation. Anything you see on social media is true. Who told you? Were you there? Were you there? I'm asking you, were you there? How are you sure that it's true? Were you there? So, give people grace, have empathy, have understanding. This life is not difficult. It's just because of our expectations. We expect a lot. I did a video previously about expectations. I'm going to link in here. Shall watch that video so you know that you should stop expecting so much from people. Focus on your own race with God, your spiritual race with God. Focus on your own self. Okay? And you'll be all right if you do that. Okay? Was that too harsh? I told you sometimes I'll be a little bit harsh now. Now. Oh, yeah, drink water, drink water. Are you okay now? Good job. I like that. Anyway, tell me if you've had any experience like that. If you've ever expected someone to be perfect, or your spiritual leader to be perfect, and then you were disappointed that they weren't. How did you deal with it? Are you still dealing with it? Come, comment, share, like, and tell me so that we together can talk to us, so that we can unlearn, relearn, and unlearn. Okay? Till next time, guys, remember to always hang in there, for the very best is next. Love you. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.